Hi, this is Tim Yunkin. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to edit a photo that was submitted by Christian Stahlfeld. I hope I didn't butcher his name, but if you want to check out his page, here's his Facebook page. Send him a friend request. He had posted this on a Facebook group asking for criticism, and this was the original photo that he had edited. Here's his logo down here, and I was just asking for some help. So he did say he converted to black and white, but he was having problems with some color. And the only distractions I really see is that it's kind of too dark here. You lost some detail in the shadows, and these specks just seem really distracting to me. And the clouds are not like really sharp to me or blurry enough for like an effect. So if we're sticking with black and white, I would probably bring out these shadows. I'd probably smooth these out. Have a vignette. It seems really kind of bright out here in the corners. And I'd rather bring the focus more in the center of the photo, where you have these leading lines going into the center here and here and here and here. So again, this is just working with the JPEG. I didn't have the raw photo at the time. And let's see what else we got. Down here was my first attempt where I just put like a zoom effect in the bottom and the top of the top portion of the photo in the clouds, just like a zoom effect blur, and on the bottom here, just to kind of smooth this out and also kind of to bring the viewer's attention in the middle. And then I think I brought up the shadows here on the sides. It was just my first attempt. And then they thought maybe adding some color and some birds over here would help draw the attention. So my next attempt was to just find some birds on the internet, like at DeviantArt or something like that, and just throw them on there. And then the way I got color in here was I think I used the Radiant Graduate filter up here and just played with the color temperature. And over here I just had an overlay of like a yellow and red spot to kind of simulate the sun. So and I think I also added some blue in the shadows and some yellow orange in the highlights. So this was like our first attempt on trying to do something with the photo. So he had sent me the raw file, which is this is the raw file, which shows a lot more detail, I think. And now I kind of see why these specks were probably like little, I don't know, moss floating on the water or something. And when converted to black and white, I'm not sure what exactly happened, but they're still distracting, and you have some over here too as well. But overall, it's still a good photo. Nothing was blown out here, where in the JPEG, if you looked at the original one that he had posted, all here, all this detail got lost. It's just like almost pure white, where in the raw photo, it looks fine. So I don't know what happened there. It should not have lost that detail converting to black and white. So this was kind of like my first attempt at redoing this. Now that I had the raw photo, I didn't want to resort to those gimmick Photoshop stuff with the zoom filter and the birds. And, I just kind of did that to try to salvage the photo in the way I thought I could. But now that we have the raw photo, this is pretty much what I came up with just in Lightroom alone. This is not using Photoshop. In fact, if I hit the backslash key here in the develop module, you'll see this is the before and after. Before and after. That's just Lightroom. So I think we'll go ahead and start editing this now in Lightroom. But just want to show you that these top three are all the same photo. This is just virtual copy 2. This is virtual copy 3 of this photo right here. What I usually like to do is make a virtual copy and then work on that. That way I still have the original. So this is a virtual copy. And as you can tell from the history, we haven't done anything to the photo yet. So the first thing I want to do is bring out the shadows. And you'll see a lot more detail popping out here. And then the highlights, I'm going to bring them down quite a bit. And to add some color in the sky, I think I would use the neutral density graduated filter here and just pull down here like so. I'm looking at the top part of the sky here, and I'm just gonna, this is how it was before. I'm just gonna crank this up to get it really, really warm. This is supposed to be a sunset image. And I'm gonna grab another one. Maybe like the topmost part of the sky, and add some red in there. Kind of give it that sunset feel. And the bottom portion, I think I pulled it more cold. Something like this to kind of give it a nighttime feel. Now the top and the bottom don't match. Obviously, if you have a reflection, you're going to get that color from up here down here, but I'm just going for artistic effect here. I'm not going for like what was actually seen. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what else I did. I think I did a, let me scroll down here. I think I bumped up the clarity a little bit. As far as the whites go, if you hold down the Alt key and click and drag to the right there, you're getting pure white. So I'm going to back off on that. And in the blacks, you hold down the Alt key and go to left. And right about there is all your pure blacks. So I'm going to back off on that. And right about there is what I have so far. So right now, if I hit the backslash key, that's your before and that's your after. So go down here, do some split toning, but I don't think I did split toning on this one. Noise reduction, I think I did bump up that a little bit. If you have any noise here, let's see what we got there. See, I'm looking here now, and I'm just trying to, that's sharpening. Okay, I'm just trying to see how that noise is going away as I bump up the luminous. Okay, that's good enough for me. I remove chromatic aberration, enable profile correction for the lens. Let's see, what else did I do? Post-crop vignetting. Yeah, I think I did add a vignette, but when I usually work on vignettes, I like to do this in, yeah, something really small. See, the midpoint, feather, yeah, we won't crank that up a lot. And then the amount, we'll back off on the amount. So something right around, I think right around there. Right about there. Actually, I still think that's too much. So something like that, I guess. Nope, I said 0. Okay, I will go with that. If you have this on 1:1, it's sometimes you view these at large mode, and then when you shrink it down, you'll see that circular is more defined. So I like to view that when it's really small. So because when most people see your image on the internet, they're going to see a small thumbnail, and if it's too dark or if it looks too fake, they're not even going to click on it. So, and what else did I do? I think that was most of it. Just bringing out the shadows and adding some color in here does about 95% of the work. The only thing I still find distracting is these bits over here floating on the water. And oh, then you have these cars here and these, let me bring it under 1:1. The telephone poles, the wires, those all can be cloned out. Even these little wisps of the clouds that seem distracting, I would go ahead and fix. And what else is there? Well, you'll see a lot when you zoom in over large. Like this guy on here with the camera or whatever he has needs to be cloned out. This right here I would clone out. All these wires and telephone poles I would clone out. Anything that looks distracting I would clone out. So I would use Photoshop at this point. I would say I'm about done here with Lightroom. I only spend about 5 minutes in Lightroom just to kind of fix the exposure of the photo, and then go right into Lightroom to fix the little details. Normally I would just go right click, edit in, open a smart object in Photoshop. But I already have it opened up in Photoshop from a previous edit, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that right now. This was the final JPEG. It's probably over sharper now to look at it now, but here's the final edit I did on the. Let me go ahead and full screen so I can bring my toolbars over here so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so you could tell I cropped it. I just thought it was a little too distracting. In fact, let me go back to Lightroom so I can show you that. This right here is, to my, just seems too distracting. You got all these lines going in here, and I think we should just crop that out. So I would have done something like this, and that's probably it. Maybe too much sky, or maybe bring up a little bit more so this horizon matches this line right here, and that to me is a lot better. Just takes out some of the distractions. So yeah, I did crop it before I entered into Lightroom. And you could tell here I smoothed out the distractions in the water with dust and scratches filter, and I did remove all the guy here standing and all the stuff I had mentioned. So these are the steps I had done. So everything I circled were things that like distracting me in my eye, and I probably zoomed in when I kind of like circled them. I took out the cars and the guy and that, and even though I didn't circle all this stuff in the water, I did take them out, and that was kind of like my plan of attack of what I was going to remove. So there's my cloning layer. You just create a new layer and you start cloning away. It's kind of tedious, and I'm just trying to do a time saver and just have it done already. You know, I'm not going to teach you how to do cloning and all the little stuff. There's plenty of YouTube videos on that. This is just about like teaching you what I see in a photo and what needs to be fixed. And then the hard part was removing this stuff. I tried frequency separation, but it didn't really work. In fact, here it is right here. I just couldn't get it to work with that. So in fact, I could just probably delete that. Oh, in fact, I better not. I'm not sure why that was there. But I just wound up with going dust and scratches, and I think I'll just show you real quick how I did that. I'm going to actually delete these two layers and show you how I removed this. So I'm going to create a new layer, create a stamp visible layer, Control Shift Alt E. And we're going to go to filter, let's see where it is, noise, dust and scratches. So I'm going to basically look at these specks on the water here, increase my radius until they kind of get blurred out. Something like that. And then I'm going to hit my Alt key and hold down this layer mask thing, which hides this effect. And then basically what I'm going to do is either with my mouse or my Wacom tablet, I'm using a Wacom tablet by the way, I'm going to paint white in this black layer mask to reveal that effect wherever I want to paint, which actually I'm just going to use my mouse for now. So B for brush, I'm already on white, and I'm just going to increase my brush size. And I'm just going to, with my mouse, just kind of click over all this stuff. And I actually did it even over here too, because as I was doing this, I kind of liked the effect it had on the water. It kind of made it look more calm. And I'm just doing this really quickly, but you know, if when you're doing this on your own, you know, use a Wacom tablet or just take your time, use a smaller brush size. And I think I even did it over here a little bit too. And again, I'm using a mouse right now, but when I did this originally, I used the Wacom tablet and a lot more patience. Okay, that is actually looking pretty good. But I did add a blending mode here to kind of bring back some of the highlight detail. So I right-clicked on this, blending options, and I didn't want this to be affected in the highlights on the underlying layer. So as you could tell from the, I was dragging this from the right to left. as I keep dragging this over to the left, you'll see the specks in the water coming back, which we don't want. So right about here, Alt click, kind of spread this out to even out the effect, and right about there. I think that's what I did. And then I even put that in its own group, Control G, and I brought back some of the detail over here. So now I'm going to paint in black, and this is kind of a backwards way of doing it, but it works for me. Now that's too much, so I just go to Edit, Fade Brush, and then fade it to what I think looks pretty good. Right about, I want to bring back a little bit of sharpness, right about there. So that got rid of the specks in the water. See what else needed to be done. Though I did bring some detail back on those rocks using a Nik filter. So again, we're going to create a new layer. I should bring that up to the top. Alt Control Shift E, stamps visible layer. You have to work on a actual image when you go into the Nik filters. So Nik collection, which one was it? I think it was Color FX Pro. Okay, and I picked the detail extractor over here on the list, but it's already pulled up. And this is the before and after. Now, my eyes are only looking at the rocks here. I don't care anything about the image. I think there's plenty of detail in the image as it is. So I'll click OK. Let's do its thing. Okay. So I don't want that effect everywhere, so I'm going to hit the Alt key and hold down this layer mask button and then paint in white to reveal that effect where I want it. So I'm going to click here and shift click here, and that brought out all that detail right there in the rocks. So this was the before and after. And I don't know if I want to do it here. Maybe I do. Yeah, that looks pretty good actually. Here maybe? Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. I didn't do this before. Well, that might be too much of an effect. Edit, fade brush. So somewhere around there. That click and shift click is a really good tool because what it does is it creates these lines. So if I, click here and shift click over here, it just creates a nice straight line, which is a nice little tip there. So that's what I was doing. What else do I want to do with this? It's looking really, really good. I think when looking at it as like a thumbnail view, it looks a little dark for me. So I'll bring up a curves layer and just pick a point here that I think needs to be bright and pull up. Maybe something like that. What else did I did do one other thing I remember now is I created a new layer. I picked the color in here. I'm going to sample, let's say, for like a nice orange yellowy color like that. I wasn't quite that color, but just for effect, I'll show you what I did. I went to my gradient tool and I picked this one right here, and I pulled up on it, and that just creates that effect right there. So I'm trying to get some light, brighter light onto the center of the photo. Obviously that's too much. I think I went to overlay, and of course I brought down my exposure. So something like that. Yeah, I think that's what I did. But I didn't want that brightness at the edges of the photo, so I layer masked it, and I'm going to paint black along the edges here. So I didn't want that effect out here. So this is the before and after, and you can see now your eye is kind of going more toward the center of the photo because it's brighter and a little more contrasty. I think that's all I need to do with this. It already has a vignette from Lightroom, and I think the brightness overall is pretty good. We didn't have to resort to any gimmicks like the zoom, blur filter, or add any overlays, or I think I even added a little fake sun effect in the middle here. Maybe I might crop this in a little more, perhaps, because it seems like I don't want to make it too much. Maybe a little bit. It's just, you know, up to your preference. I like it really long to keep it in landscape mode. I'm not sure if I like that or not. But that's what I would do. I would just now flatten it, resize it, sharpen it for the web, and then export to the web. So hopefully you learned something and you can apply it to your own photos at this point. Thanks.